Why did Alex Guarnaschelli leave the kitchen? Was she fired? First kicking off just after the new year in 2014, The Kitchen mixes the tropes of popular daytime talk shows with the flavor of a cooking show. And while most talk shows are hosted by comedians or entertainers like Kelly Clarkson and Drew Barrymore, The Kitchen is presented by popular Food Network chefs. At its inception, those chefs were Sonny Anderson, Jeffrey Zakarian, Marcella Valladolid, Jeff Mauro, and Katie Lee Beagle. Late in 2014, chef Alex Guarnaschelli made her first appearance on The Kitchen, and a few years later became a regular host, eventually joining the crew in nearly every episode beginning in 2020. Then, in February of 2024, Guarnaschelli abruptly stopped appearing on the show, and before long there were rumblings that she'd been fired. Unfortunately, information on the unfolding drama at The Kitchen has been sparse, leading fans, critics, and bloggers like us to wonder what was really going on. She disappeared from several episodes of the show. Food Network shows like The Kitchen typically have a fairly consistent cast of celebrity chefs operating as judges or hosts. It's not uncommon for one or more to have a temporary replacement here and there as needed, whether due to scheduling conflicts or illness, but when that happens there's usually a mention of it on air. In early 2024, however, The Kitchen aired multiple episodes without Alex Guarnaschelli, and fans took notice of the show's lack of comment on her absence. Her name was removed from the show's website. Not long after fans began to notice Guarnaschelli's conspicuous absence from The Kitchen, a curious development made the situation more puzzling. Viewers began to take it upon themselves to investigate and quickly noticed that the Food Network didn't just remove her from a couple of episodes, it axed her entirely from the show's website. For some, this seemed like confirmation that not only was Guarnaschelli out as a host of The Kitchen, but that the network was trying to erase her entirely, possibly in an effort to disassociate themselves from the celebrity chef. Gone from the show and with her presence scrubbed from the website, Guarnaschelli all but disappeared, as if she'd never hosted the show at all. But that wasn't even the end of Food Network's odd behavior. She didn't appear at a live event for The Kitchen. Being a host or judge on a Food Network show like The Kitchen is more than just showing up for a taping of a new episode and going home. Like any Hollywood role, being a celebrity chef on a hit series means going on the road for promotional tours, participating in press interviews, and appearing at the network's many live events. So when Food Network announced an event for The Kitchen, viewers following the Guarnaschelli saga got an update on the drama when she was left out of a live event hosted in Miami, Florida, on February 25, 2024. Were budget cuts to blame? Some fans believe that the Food Network fired her to save money. If Alex Guarnaschelli was fired from The Kitchen, we have yet to find out why, and if she quit under contentious circumstances, she still hasn't said a word about it. So the question remains as to why exactly Guarnaschelli departed the show. And there are several theories being tossed out online, leading to plenty of fervent debate. Some fans, however, are convinced it's a simple, if controversial, matter of Food Network looking to save money. Budget purposes makes absolutely perfect, reasonable sense for the changes, said a user on a Food Network subreddit. Some, however, weren't convinced that it was a money matter that got Alex canned. Not sure why they need budget cuts when practically everything they air these days is a rerun, said another user, taking aim at the channel's penchant for airing a healthy dose of old episodes of various shows around the clock. Don't worry, she isn't going far. The whole Alex Guarnaschelli affair may be creating drama in the fandom, with viewers debating what really happened between the chef and the network, but there may not be the same level of drama behind the scenes. Because while it may be more than logical to assume there's some kind of kerfuffle given the odd way it's played out, the only real evidence we have tells a different story. And that evidence came with the announcement from Guarnaschelli that she'd be returning on the Food Network. Just not on The Kitchen. Guarnaschelli's second season as host of Chow House began airing in late May. She was quick to answer fans on Instagram who wanted to know where they might see her, even as she ignored probing questions about her exit from The Kitchen. According to Guarnaschelli, she still had planned appearances on other Food Network shows, including a spot on Wildcard Kitchen, just weeks after the debacle unfolded. Fans don't like the show without her. No matter how it happened or why, the reality is that Alex Guarnaschelli appears to be done at The Kitchen. And while many fans have taken it upon themselves to get to the bottom of the situation, they're not just playing Food Network detective for fun, but because they don't want her to go. "I stopped watching The Kitchen," said one fan on Instagram, who was also annoyed by how the whole thing has unfolded. I think it's a bit ridiculous they haven't acknowledged someone no longer being on the show. But it wasn't just the lack of information that miffed fans. For many, Guarnaschelli was a big reason to tune in, and the show won't be the same without her. Her presence is greatly missed, said another user on Reddit. I watched it primarily for her. There are plenty of viewers who are so incensed by Guarnaschelli's sidelining that they're tuning out. Admittedly, no TV chef is universally loved, so Guarnaschelli has her detractors too. But in an informal Reddit poll in 2022, the response was overwhelming. A vast majority of audiences really like her, and losing her won't be making those fans very happy.